What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to The Fringe. We have breaking news that Rebel News owner and reporter, CEO EZRA LEVANT has been arrested during a protest, I guess, during one of these events with these Hamas holes coming out with their flags saying, you know, death to Canada, let's strike everything down, merely by reporting, by walking on a public street. EZRA LEVANT has been arrested. We have video footage. We're going to go over that later in the video. But I want to show how we got here because this weekend has been absolutely crazy. And I'm not talking about Black Friday shopping. We're talking about Justin Trudeau and the face of his country, how we have a two-tiered justice system in this country. It's very important you watch this video. Before we get into the footage, ladies and gentlemen, I just ask if you're enjoying this, please leave a thumbs up and a comment. These videos have been completely shadow banned as of late. Any help we can get to get pushed out in the algorithm, greatly appreciated. So if you're enjoying, again, hit that subscribe button, do all the YouTube jazz, thumbs up, comment, helps us exponentially. Let's take a look at how this all started over the weekend. Justin Trudeau heading into Toronto to hand out friendship bracelets at the Taylor Swift concert. Justin Trudeau was more focused on going to hang out with teenage girls over the weekend instead of doing his job and, you know, managing our country. Don't forget, we're still at a standstill in our political system because this man refuses to hand over incriminating documents on SDTC to the RCMP. I mean, look at him dancing, acting the fool at a concert. He's more, this is, and I'll guarantee you, this was our money that paid for this, by the way. This wasn't, this wasn't paid for by Justin Trudeau. I'm almost willing to bet at this point. While he's having a blast with a bunch of kids, here's what was really happening in Montreal. Police and protesters facing off in a situation escalating very quickly. I mean, do you guys remember this happening during the Freedom Convoy? Now, I can say I do remember that happening during the Freedom Convoy, but it was also only when Justin Trudeau invoked the Emergency Act, and it was a lot more aggressive than what we're seeing here. I mean, take a look at this. City of Montreal's in complete chaos as anti-Israel rioters go on a rampage. Unreal scenes. Did any of this happen during the Freedom Convoy? You guys remember this? I know people say, hey, you keep going back to the Freedom Convoy. The Freedom Convoy's done. It's over. It's important to show because these are protests. The Freedom Convoy was one of the biggest national protests ever covered. This is another Canadian protest. Keep in mind, Justin Trudeau has toured the world saying that we have the right as Canadians to protest. This is a protest over a war that doesn't even concern us. Anybody saying that this has to do with what's happening in Gaza is absolutely wrong. This is nothing more than destruction. It's thuggery. These people hate Canada. There was a number of white university students arrested Friday night participating in this, who cover their faces because they're really just out to loot stores and behave like maniacs and social justice warriors. Half of them don't even know what they're protesting. But this is what Canada has become. Look at this, people setting cars on fire. This isn't the Canada I grew up in. This is what Justin Trudeau's Canada looks like. A two-tiered justice system. I heard reports saying that up to 30 people, 30 whopping people, were arrested Friday night while this was going on. Well, I'm sure glad they arrested 30 people instead of the roughly 3,000 that were out there causing all this chaos. Do you guys remember during the Freedom Convoy, Justin Trudeau telling people to go home? Now's the time to go home. Get in your trucks, leave Ottawa, please. Have you seen him once say that these people need to go? We've talked about deporting temporary foreign workers. Why aren't we deporting these people that come to our country and behave like this? The biggest problem is that it's all part of the plan. It's all part of Trudeau's plan. It's his plan to divide the country. You can see that with government-paid shield prostitute reporting. The pleb tweeting out, the legacy media are lying about the riots in Montreal. They are trying to deflect the blame from Palestine protesters to anti-NATO demonstrations. If it weren't for places like X, you would not know the truth about what we all saw unfold on Friday night. We are the real media now. We're not media. We're YouTubers. I mean, but he has a point. This is again where I say it's so important. If you're enjoying this content, hit a thumbs up, comment. It helps push it out there for more people to see it. Look at what the Globe and Mail is saying. Joly and Blair condemn anti-NATO protest in Montreal that saw fires and smashed windows. The Gazette posting cars burned, windows smashed at pro-Palestinian anti-NATO demonstration in Montreal. CTV reporting anti-NATO protest in Montreal erupts in fires, smashed windows, arrests, say police. I mean, City News. Joly, Blair condemn anti-NATO protest in Montreal again. Another outlet saying 3 arrested as Montreal anti-NATO demonstration turns violent. This is the state of our country. It's all propaganda. They just want you to believe whatever they tell you. Now, we did have the Conservatives coming out full force, Melissa Lantsman, others coming out this weekend condemning what happened in Montreal. Even Danielle Smith jumping on board. 9 years of Trudeau and the nation has never been more divided. It's time for Canadians to get the opportunity to vote and change direction in this country for the better. Of course, tweeting out Pierre Poilievre, you act surprised. We're reaping what you sowed. This is what happens when a prime minister spends 9 years pushing toxic, woke identity politics, dividing and subdividing people by race, gender, poke status, religion, region, age, wealth, etc. On top of dividing people apart, you systematically break what used to bring us together, saying Canada is a post-national state with no core identity. You opened the borders to terries and lawbreakers and called anyone who questioned it racist. They still do. You send out your MPs to say one thing in a mosque and the opposite in a synagogue, one thing in a mandir and the opposite in a gurdwara. Keep in mind again, and I'm going to point out because people would be saying I'd be doing a disservice, Pierre's people have done the same thing. This is where I'm going to get into by the end of the video what I think needs to change. You've made Canada a playground for foreign interference. You allowed Iran's IRGC terrorists to legally operate here for 4 years after they unalived 55 of our citizens in a major unprovoked attack. You passed laws that release rampant offenders from prison within hours of their 80th arrest. And what is the result? Assassinations on Canadian soil, fire bombings on synagogues, extremist violence against mandirs and gurdwaras, over 100 churches burned or vandalized with barely any condemnation from you, all of the total of 251% more hate crime. Again, mentioning everything but Christianity until the end there, by the way. And while you were dancing, Montreal was burning. We won't let you divide us anymore. Call an election now. We'll fire you and reclaim our citizenship, our values, our lives, our freedom, and most of all, our country. Now, again, I'm not criticizing Pierre here. What I'm saying is, when they post out that they've been sending politicians to these locations to virtue signal, there's photos of Pierre doing the same thing on certain holidays. There's photos of Pierre condemning certain outfits and praising another. It's a little hypocritical is all I'm saying. Justin Trudeau, of course, tweeting out what we saw in the streets of Montreal last night was appalling. Acts of anti-Semitism, intimidation, and violence must be condemned whenever we see them, all while he was dancing at Taylor Swift, probably on our dime. But this is where we get into the two-tier justice system. I'm sorry it's taken 9 whole minutes to get here, but I'm trying to paint a picture of Justin Trudeau's Canada. We have all of that go on over the weekend, and rumors of up to 30 people arrested. Such incredible numbers. Today, we see EZRA Levant talking to Hamas holes that are out protesting for Canada to be wiped off the map. Keep in mind, there was a protest in Vancouver recently, a couple weeks back, where they chanted death to Canada, death to America, death to the West. This is on Canadian soil. It's 7 minutes long. I'm going to skip through most of the parts. I'll start showing. Now, keep in mind, the context here is very vague. This just happened. Again, I wanted to get it out so you guys could see it as soon as possible. I'm sure Ezra will be reporting at some point exactly what took place. But let's take a look at what went down.
Set the rules. Instead of being in charge of rights, which you're not asking.
Did your wife get her PR? Did your wife get her PR? I think you have.
So they're all chanting, "Get him out," while the police are escorting him off the sidewalk. Keep in mind, the sidewalk is public property. Ezra pays taxes. We all pay taxes. That's public property. They're all chanting, "Get him out," because they don't want any opposition. They just want to keep lighting our cars on fire and breaking the windows of our businesses. Protesting a war that doesn't even involve us. Now, I'm going to show a little bit more, and then I'm going to get to where they continue to essentially escort him down the sidewalk, and then it turns into an arrest. Let's watch a few more seconds, and I'll skip ahead.
I think you have. I haven't
His wife got the PR.
This is my
Is that an immigrant? He's falling for his wife's PR. Did she get it?
You should all be deported.
Huh? She's deported?
Yeah, should all be deported.
No. Is your wife deported? I know. I don't want to arrest you.
Yes, you want to. I don't want to arrest you. No, I want to film. I want to film the astonishing things that are permitting on our city streets. There are Holocaust survivors here. Go back to the media.
Now, I wanted to hold that clip because that was the important part. Did you hear somebody yelling in the back, "Stop terroring a peaceful protest"? Where has any of this been peaceful? While these people cover their faces, while they burn down our businesses, while they burn down our churches, while they go to the streets and block roads, while the police bring them Tim Hortons, how is a man reporting on what is going on disrupting a so-called peaceful protest? I'd like to know what their definition of peaceful is. Now, this continues to go on to a point where you see Ezra questioning the police. I'm going to get into that. And then we'll show his arrest. We'll show what actually went down here.
You're Jewish, though? So I said to you before, you're allowed. We were here last week.
Right. You had a designated area to stay in, and you agreed to stay in it.
I did not. What are you talking about?
Well, absolutely. Acting Inspector Ford told me they had a media area for you, and you guys stayed in it, and they came back.
We did not. Well, because it's not up to him to say you have free speech stand, but not you.
Well, yeah, because you're inciting this crowd, and then it breaches the peace.
I said
Well, your presence is inciting them, and that's exactly what you're trying to do.
I'm a Jew.
So again, the police are accusing Ezra of inciting the peaceful protesters because, guys, listen, if you want to burn down our businesses and our vehicles and continue to cause chaos in our streets, that's okay. But heaven forbid a reporter go over there. Two-tiered justice system.
No, because you're trying to incite them.
I haven't tried to incite them. I went to take a picture of the hate crime that
You
you're
could have done it on
abiding.
the other side. You didn't need to walk over.
No, I wanted to go out. I don't
Now I'm
think
going to tell you to
anyone-
move over there.
And
if you don't
I
press
allowed
it,
you.
I allowed you to take that video.
Let's get
I
that
allowed
on
you to
there.
take that
Yeah.
video.
I'm not
So you're
crossing the
refusing
road.
to leave?
I'm refusing to leave.
Why?
Because I'm a Jew, I'm a citizen, and I'm your boss. And I don't leave if you say Jews aren't
Well, you know
allowed
what?
on the street.
In the interest of keeping peace here and public safety, you're under arrest for breach of the peace. Take a minute.
Good. Take this.
Right there is our legal system demolished. This is everything our country is supposed to be, thrown out the window as hired jackboot thugs of Olivia Chow's arrest a reporter on a public road, telling him he's allowed to stand across the street, but he's not allowed to stand on the public sidewalk that he pays taxes for. That he's inciting a crowd of peaceful protesters while they all chant and cheer as he's thrown in handcuffs. These jackboot thugs who claim to stand up for the best interests of Canada, to serve and protect, ladies and gentlemen, their only interests are serving, protecting anybody who's here from another country. It has nothing to do with Canadians anymore. They're on the wrong side of the law. Just like during the pandemic, the police are once again standing on the wrong side of the law And when it's all over, ladies and gentlemen, when the government comes out full force, when Trudeau is gone, and when government comes out in full force to say, we're not putting up with this anymore, you're going to see all of these police saying, oh, we're sorry. Sorry? We're really sorry. No amnesty. We have seen the wrong behavior from police for too long, and I keep saying, I'll give the police a win when they do the right thing, but when it comes to behavior like this, there are good cops and there are bad cops, and these cops, I condemn each and every one of them. They clearly do not uphold the law. They uphold the best interests from their superiors, is what they're doing. Let's continue.
I'm being arrested because I'm standing on the sidewalk in my city. I'm a Jew who lives in this neighborhood, and I'm being arrested because the police say that's the path of least resistance.
Get it quick.
This thing got to go look for in Ohio?
How puff is meat? Watch out the road.
Shame on you, Zionism, including Moshiach.
You've got them yelling shame on Zionism, shame on everything else, instead of worrying about common law in our country. It doesn't matter if it's a pandemic. It doesn't matter if it's protests. As long as it's against the people who live here, the people who work to pay their taxes so that Justin Trudeau can jet set around the world and go to Taylor Swift concerts and hang out with a bunch of minors all night. This is essentially what's more important. Arrest those who oppose almighty dictator and uphold the law for those who break it. Give them quick release protocols and everything else. Each one of those police who just hauled EZRA LEVANT away in handcuffs should be ashamed of themselves. They should resign, if not be completely terminated without pay, without leave, without any form of their pension. I apologize. I've got notifications coming in while I'm trying to get this out. My phone's been going off the hook ever since this happened, which again is exactly why I wanted to make sure we got this out for you guys. Let me know what you think down below. Do you believe, I guess question of the day, do you believe the law still represents Canadians, or do you think that, again, these installed mayors, installed government leaders are essentially in charge of what happens to us and what doesn't happen to us? It appears that the law only applies to those who have influence, while the rest of us get whatever they want to throw at us. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Again, I'm going to reach out to Rebel News. I'd like to have Ezra on the channel to talk more about this. I'm sure he will be expressing what happened coming up as soon as he's out of jail. As soon as I hear anything, I will be following up on this for you guys. Again, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a comment and a thumbs up on the way out. If it's your first time here, I hope this video has earned your subscription. Make sure as you're hitting that button, you turn on your bell for notifications. Join me live here on the channel each and every Friday night for Friday Night Fringe, our live streaming show. I'll be joined on those shows by my beautiful wife, Mrs. Fringe, where we go over everything that has happened this week in politics, everything coming up in the week ahead, and some back and forth within the community. Those streams are all about the community. We always want to hear what you guys have to hear, and we always look forward to hearing what you have to say every single Friday night, starting at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, here on the channel. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, at least the information from it, and have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you on the next one.